Brothers, we're in the Giants playbook today, and we're going to be taking a look at kind of what makes, I don't know, just building an offense, if you will. I think that this year there's been a lot of variety in terms of offense. There's been, I think, 15 different playbooks that have made an MCS Live event. And so the point just being that you can literally run any offense that you want. One of the things that you're looking for, I just wanted to kind of cover like what makes an offense good, what makes an offense bad in Madden, pretty much year over year. Um, the first thing is pass protection. So, can you block the meta blitzes? In this year's game, play action is one of the best ways to block meta blitzes. So, having a good play action play is really helpful for blocking meta blitzes. The other thing that I would say is like critical in terms of what makes an offense good in Madden versus what makes an offense bad in Madden is effective routes. So, it's not like the reason why Bunch is good every single year is because they give it the best routes. And I actually have kind of a list of my top routes to look for in formations, and that's pivot routes. I think one of the best routes in the game this year is pivot routes. So whether it's a return route or a zig route, those, for example, motion inside post, motion drive zig, those are zig routes, return routes that we're looking for. Those are really key. Another route that I think is really good in this year's game is this idea of like a fade, a stock fade, like you get out of flood. These are really good this year for pulling zones, manipulating coverage, helping against switch stick. So looking for like a stock fade would be another route that you want to have in a playbook or in a formation. Another route that I think is really popular in this game and also really helpful is any kind of like short post. As you see this play here, PA double post out of WAF trips nasty. It has a short post that you can't hot route, whether you have hot route master or not. You cannot hot route a short post or even routes like this seam route out of dagger whip or deep in routes. You're looking for routes that you can't hot route, and that is one of the best things or things that makes a formation good or bad. Does it have routes that you can hot route? Does it not have routes that you can hot route? Another thing that makes a formation of the route that you want to look for is cheat motion. Cheat motion really has been something new this year that has simply just done a really good job. They've done, I think, a good job of implementing this, and this is a very effective tactic in this game. This idea of these cheat wheel plays, they are really good. And so having a cheat motion route in your offense is also kind of another key route. So if we're just recapping return routes, zig routes, glitchy fade routes or stock fade routes, short post routes, short corners from like slot receivers is also one that I'd put as kind of like a bonus route. And then the cheat motions. Those are kind of like the best routes in the game year in and year out. So if we take a look here, and then also like pass protection, and really just basically like play action blocking this year. Play action blocking is just, significantly better than anything else that you can do. So we're looking for some of those routes as far as a formation that has all of those things built within it. I actually don't see one in this Giants playbook. That doesn't mean this Giants playbook is bad. It just means that it doesn't check all of the boxes. So really, at that point, you kind of want to highlight what is important to you. Is pass protection important? Is play action important? Is really crazy unique routes important? Like for example, stack by flex has kind of unique spacing, has a unique route. It has some really good kind of underrated things. Another thing when we talk about like choosing a playbook that I think is critical is what are your audibles? So can you audible around? For example, I talk about this being like the best mini scheme in the game because this formation is literally in everything, and it has bench return, it has bench dig pivot, right? It has some really good stock routes that you can't hot route, and it has a lot of really good value. Another good formation that you really is in a lot of different playbooks and is a great little formation to have is trips tight end offset. So as you see here, stick has a stock fade. If we wanted to build around that, we have PA crossers, we have verticals with the seam streak, and then we have RPO alert bubble. You can really do whatever you want here. If you like scat, if you like X under a little better, kind of choosing up to you like what you want. Another route that I would put as like a bonus good route, nice to have route are these shock H option, this like little kind of like, it's technically called a slot fade, where it's almost like an inverted wheel. Those routes are really good for pulling zones from compressed formations, specifically this year. And then you have a play like tight end in with that seam streak. I'm just going to leave these audibles. I think these are really good. So we have kind of a couple formations that we want to look at. Trips tight end offset. Trips tight end offset weak is a really good like shotgun gimmicky run type formation. You have RPO read bubble outside zone. These are really good run plays. Verticals, you have kind of that nice in route. You have P flood, so you kind of have some really nice plays built within this one. And then as far as like what is our main formation, what's our power formation? Like we have tight open, we have some of these other things. So really for me, I think in Giants, it's kind of hard to pick one because they don't have. This is what I'm talking about when I say like you're looking for formations that have the best routes in the game. And they have a lot of pivot routes. I think ultimately I'm going to land on this tight way off just because it has auto motion or cheat motion, tight way off weak and tight way off. They have the cheat motion plays. So I think that this is kind of a good little place, a starting place, if you will. So we're going to go with tight way off weak here, and we're going to really build out of a power play PH cheat wheel post. This checks a couple boxes. It has a cheat motion. It has a post. It's not a sharp cutting post, but it is a post. And then it also has play action blocking. So it checks a couple of the boxes that we want. Also, another really good element of the pass protection in this formation, the running back's on one side and the tight end is on the other side. That is like pretty good. And then it does have some good routes. It doesn't have the short post, which is probably my favorite route in the game, but it does have a lot of return routes. It has that nice seam streak from PH sheet come back go. So we can have that in here. We have PH sheet will post, cheat outside zone. If you guys didn't know in this year's game, outside zones are really good run plays. And then from there, it's really kind of like pivot routes, honestly. I don't see anything else that's like super crazy. I would probably have corner strike in here. Spot wide middle has like a tight end Texas route, which is cool, but I just don't think those are like super effective. So again, we're really looking when we look at our audibles, we look at our plays here. We're trying to figure out like what are routes that we can't hot route, what are routes that are unique, and specifically what are good routes. For example, bench dagger, this running back route, it's like pointless. Like it's not really like a good route. Levels, for example, you can kind of hot route all those. Wide receiver under though, you get an interesting corner route, and then you get a pivot route to the tight end. So we'll use that, and then again we'll come out in PH sheet, we'll post. So we kind of set some audibles, we kind of set some things up, and then now as far as like what I'm gonna do here, I think I'm just gonna run. I think of what coverages. I think I'm just gonna run like a random. I want to just run like random defenses here. So I think I'm just going to run like a random nickel. Can I do that? Double tap L3. Do that for you. All right. So we're going to run some random plays. And the reason why I like to run random plays is just to make sure that ensure that it beats everything. And what I really wanted to talk about in this video, and I think something that's like super underrated in terms of your offense, as you see here, we're kind of building this offense. There's a cut. We could obviously with this formation, we could run this. These cheat will plays are really good when they run to the short side. So what we're going to do is kind of base this offense around the right hash. So if we always want to run this with our tight end to the short side of the field, when we audible, let's just take a look at some of our plays here. When we audible to like trips tight end, for example, this puts the trips to the wide side of the field, and then we can run our trips tight end plays. When we want to audible to tight open, for example, this is still a fairly favorable alignment to get into a tight open type of set. So those are our three plays and our three formations. And again, generally speaking, I think any good offense in Madden at this point, with some of the changes in terms of the way people utilize it, most offenses are going to have at least 2 to 3 formations that they're going to audible around to, with the one exception primarily being U-trips. I think, and I think the reason why U-trips is the major exception is because it takes so long to audible to anything that in U-trips. Okay. So the other thing that I wanted to just quickly highlight is we talk about our plays. We're looking to develop route combinations that will attack every single blade of grass on the field. So we know in Madden 25 that one of the best routes is a seam streak, just a simple slot streak. These are one of the best routes in the game. So I'm going to do here to set this play up is I'm just going to streak the slot. I'm going to drag this tight end. And I want you to look at all of the places of the field that this route combo is going to be able to attack. We're attacking the right side flat. We're attacking kind of the right side fade area. we're attacking that left side seam streak. We're really attacking the left side middle area of the field at all three levels. We're attacking underneath in the middle on the left side. We're attacking intermediate in the middle on the left side with this post. And then we're attacking deep on the left side with this streak. And then if we let these routes run, we're also still simultaneously being able to attack the left flat. So you're going to see how this play goes. Obviously, you look at that cheat motion first. Not really there, but our post is right there, able to hit that hopefully in game. Those routes, for some reason, in practice mode. And we can also, like if we see pressure, feel free to block your running back here. You're on a play action play, so you're going to have pretty decent blocking. Notice we can hit that cheat motion quick against most coverages off that outside edge. So that kind of takes me to another little play that I like out of this. And let me just go through and explain why we would go to this. So again, if we take a look at this play, this is really attacking kind of the middle of the field, the right side deep, and then really the underneath on the left side. So we're kind of attacking like certain spots of the field. So when we add a play into our scheme, we want that play to attack some area of the field that the other play didn't previously attack. I know it sounds fairly simple, but a lot of people don't do that. A lot of, if you even look at pro players, like a lot of their route combinations, they kind of all go, they kind of like in a formation, the formation itself, they kind of just attack the same spots over and over again. For example, dig return and smash return, very similar plays in terms of how they attack. And that's also simultaneously similar to verticals. And so the point I'm just trying to make is you want your plays to attack different areas of the field. And ideally within a route combo, in my opinion, you want to try to attack as many spots of the field as possible while still having a concept. I think that while still having a concept piece is really, really important. So another one of my setups that I really like out of this is we're going to try to attack kind of this right sideline or right side of the field with this cheat motion. So what we're able to do here is we're just going to drag this backside player. We're going to corner route the tight end. We're going to streak the slot receiver. And then we could either put the running back on a Texas route or we could put him on a streak. What you're going to see here is that the way this combo is going to work is we have a seam streak on that right side. We have that cheat motion. And then we also have this tight end corner that's going to be able to kind of attack that right side area of the field. Another great example of this would be this play PHE comeback, where we could just run some drags underneath. And what you're going to see is that this comeback is going to kind of attack that same general area of the field. As you see, it's like that intermediate outside corner area. That's a key area to be able to attack within this offense. Another thing that we're able to do is we could go to a play like corner strike and really do basically the same thing, except now we're utilizing a return route on that left side. So the reason this would be a good play, for example, is just because as you look here to the right side, we're able to attack the right side seam, we're able to attack the right side intermediate area of the field. We have the right side flat with that drag. We also kind of have that as a middle of the field read. And then the running back is going to clear out for this backside return route, which, oh, by the way, is also a really good man beater, right? Every good offense and every good play in general is going to have routes that are really good against man coverage. Example is this cheat wheel. Example would be the tight end corner. Those are some key routes. The return route is really good against man coverage. You want to have routes on the field that are really, really good against man-to-man. So I think I just literally got a by the computer. So anyway, I really like this corner strike setup. I think this is an underrated setup here because it's just going to space out very, very well. As you see, able to hit that return route kind of on that backside in that check down. Another thing that we can do in a formation like this is we could use like super underrated setups. So again, we can kind of, again, this is why a return route is really, really helpful in an offense because you can kind of build around the return route. So one of the things that we're able to do here is we're just going to simply outroute our tight end, streak our receiver here on the right-hand side, and then we can put the slot receiver on a post and we could stem that down one time or so. This is going to run more like a crosser. So you have a seam streak, you have a quick tight end out that's going to give you man-to-man separation. It's going to attack kind of that right side flat. We don't really, if you think about this formation as a whole, we don't have a lot of plays that just quickly attack this right side flat. You could leave the flat route too. But then you also, like, let's say you have a crosser or a post. This route is kind of your backbreaker, big hitting route that's going to get over to that right side, and you're going to be able to attack that right sideline as well. One of the other areas of the field that we really haven't attacked much in this offense is going to be this left side. So a couple different ways in which we can attack it. one of my favorite ways to attack it is to use a double corner. So we're going to corner out this outside receiver. We're going to stem him all the way down. We're going to streak our running back out of the backfield. And then really whatever you want to do here on this right side, I think just a simple streak is cool, or some kind of drag. And basically what we're looking for here is, if it's cover two, then your deeper corner is going to have a really good chance of being able to get open on that sideline. So as you see here, just kind of stock, we're in a really good advantageous space to be able to run this double corner. And then you have this, you take a look at this corner, the triangle's on. You could stem him down one. I don't think you necessarily have to, but he's really designed to pull outside thirds and outside quarters, and you're really wanting to throw that route, as you see right there. Notice that because we have this like deeper corner, it's going to pull a lot of the zones to him. And then this running back streak is also going to kind of help hold some coverage. And then against man coverage, a lot of times you could just hit that corner quick to that sideline as well. Another thing you could do with the play wide receiver under is you could stem this one all the way down, and now you could run the play more so like a traditional flood play like that. And you're still kind of attacking that same area. But as you see, cover four and cover three are going to have a little bit more of a chance of being able to make a better play on the ball. So this is where I like to also kind of touch on, if we take a look at this formation as a whole, what are some of the strengths of it? Well, the strengths of it is that we have play action blocking. We can attack the seams with almost anybody. So as you see here, like, I mean, literally a setup like this is not actually terrible. Double seam streaks. You have a cheat motion play. Look at this cheat motion. You'll see here, I mean, this thing just crucifies cover two on this right-hand side. So you're going to force them to play cover four, cover three, or man coverage to that side. And then what you're able to do around the offense, if you're anticipating cover two to the backside of this, one of my favorite things to do is have some type of cover two concept that can win. So as you see this play, and I would say like cover two as a core concept is going to be pretty good. But even something as simple as a setup like this, I actually think this is a really good setup. And the reason why is because if they do run cover two on that left side, you're going to have a corner route for a big play. If they run man coverage, one of the real reasons why I love cheat motion is because if this guy was faster, I don't have Marquise Brown in there, but if that guy was faster, he would be able to get better separation against that. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you about this, let's see if I hope they're in cover two this time. But if you just stem this down one, you don't stem it all the way down, right? You stem it down to like 5 yards like that. It's still going to run fairly quick. But against cover two, it's going to clear it. So you got a cover two beater on the right and a cover two beater on the left. As you see right here, see how this is able to kind of hit that sweet spot against cover two. Now, granted, the safety did play it, and that's one of the weaknesses of the formation. You're trying to get this running back to get across the field quick enough, or to get up the field quick enough that he wouldn't play it. And that's just one of those things where I honestly think it's like more of a speed thing than in general. Another thing that you're noticing is like press man can give this a little bit of trouble. I think that's more of a regs thing, but then something we really need to be concerned about. But a really serious combo that I think you should like actually add to your offense here would actually be a streak corner and then a running back table. And the reason why I like this, and I think that this is like necessary, is as you notice, one of the weaknesses is cover two, and we could just streak this backside guy. This is gonna kill cover two. Like they're never ever gonna be able to run a cover two on you if you use this combo. And you could do this a lot of different ways. Like you could even just do it like this, and then if you wanted to have like a backside post that could beat man, you could do that in this game. But you're going to be pretty much able to beat cover three in a lot of different ways, in my opinion here. Let's see, this PA cheat play, another little play that I think worthy of discussing. How would you run this? I think you have a stemmed all the way down like that. And then this is honestly pretty decent. This comeback just gets into a nice spot. You're going to see right here kind of how he's, what I was hoping is they'd run cover two there, but I'm getting a lot of cover three from the computer. I think I'm going to get another cover three. So we'll show you another thing about this. So if you go corner and you stem it down one time like this, take a look here on this left side. A lot of times that corner will work. Also, your tight end return route's going to win, right? But in general, you're trying to kind of, like the biggest weakness is beating cover two to the left. So the reason I wanted to bring that up is because are there audible plays where we can beat cover two to the left side? So, for example, this would be where we would want to have some plays that are really, really good. An example of what I think would be a pretty decent cover two beater is just to go to trips tight end verticals. And we're just going to corner out the tight end and set it up like this or set it up like this. Now, if they run cover two or they run any kind of zone coverage on that left side, you're going to have a pretty good chance of being able to manipulate cover two. Hopefully this is actually cover two, but I just wanted to just like kind of briefly explain why I really, really, really like the ability here, to be able to attack if it's a cover two. Here it looks like this is going to be just a cover one. Let's see if Mahomes can make that throw. Nice, but Hopkins can't make that catch. But in general, like this is, these are like key things for building an offense. And again, having plays that can beat man coverage. So like this is a really good play because this gives you a really good man beater. You have the cheat motion play, which if they shade down in man coverage, you're going to win there. But then you also have like that tight end drag. It's one of the simplest man beaters in the game, but it is very, very effective, as you can see, at being able to manipulate that. I hope and pray that this is a cover two. And there's other ways that we could beat cover two as well over here. It doesn't just have to be verticals. I'm just using verticals as an example. And you don't even necessarily have to keep the tight end on the corner, I don't think. I think you could run a setup like this. Of course, it's cover zero. Why wouldn't it be? All right, we're going to actually go get a cover two because um, I really want to show you this. I just want to show you like why this is really, really good. So having those plays that you can audible to, I just think are super helpful. Here we go, Tampa tip. So, for example, like one of the problems that we will have with this formation is it's kind of tricky and hard to beat cover two to the left side. There's just not a lot of plays that really set us up for success there. This is probably the best one, but ultimately that one is honestly fairly easy to switch stick. So what I like to do is, let's say I have a problem that I can't solve in my main formation. Well, my secondary formation, which would be trips tight end in this example, is really good against cover two to the left side. It's almost impossible for you to get away with running cover two to that side. As you see there, he's wide open. Just need Mahomes to make the pass. And then also we have other things that we can do to beat cover two. But pretty much everything at a trip side in is going to do pretty decent against cover two to that left side. Let me actually just see if I can actually make this throw for you with Mahomes. And you see that vertical seam streak is a key play for us being able to beat cover two. Another thing about cover two, while we're talking about it, that I wanted to just address, one crazy route is if you were to do something like this, the biggest trick is going to be to get that deep half pulled, which I think is actually pretty hard in this game. So we'll see if we can get it just by running some combo like that. But in general, we would look for the seam streak. And you see how he's able to kind of close because we don't really have a threat. The one thing I did want to also say, though, and I'll just point out, is if they do run a lot of cover two on this left side, let's say we run a route combo like this, imagine the tight end's on a drag, but I just want you to look at your backside post, and also, you see that right side, you really can't run cover two on the right. So now another thing that I like to do here is if we wanted a quicker motion, so let's say we want to make that motion like super fast, like as fast as we can, we could go to a formation. Do I not have double Z close here with the dagger? Watch how fast this audible is. Super fast audible. All we really need to do is snap the ball, and now we should be able to beat cover two on that left-hand side. So that's another thing, is you can have like situational audibles in your playbook as well. But this formation just happens to have a really nice cover two beater right here stock. It's that same streak from trips tight end pretty much. And the practice mode sheds are just the gift that keeps on giving. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of like give you an idea of like, this is how you can kind of begin to kind of build your own offense. I've built a ton of offenses in my Madden history and college football short history. If you guys want to learn them, they're in our school community. But it really is just like taking a formation and figuring out what are the problems that you're having, what are you trying to solve for, and then what are the options to solve it. Apparently, we can't throw a seam streak in practice mode, which is actually crazy, and why I always show my videos against dollar, because this is legitimately like nuts that we can't just throw a basic seam streak. But you see, there, it destroys cover two. um, but in general, just wanted to do a quick video where I talked a little bit about just the idea of spacing. I think in this offense right here, the hardest area of the field to attack is that left side. Granted, if we did a setup like this probably would do a decent job of attacking that left hand side and could kind of serve as a makeshift cover two beater situationally, and then having some other good formations in which you audible around, and they actually have like a lot of strengths against cover two. Another good example from trips tight end, one of my favorite route combinations, is utilizing the stock fade. And as you'll see here, this stock fade, once he kind of gets off the jam, he'll have a chance to beat cover two, but then also you have kind of some nice underneath passing. So in general, this is kind of what I look for in building an offense in Madden and in college football 25. I just think in general, like these are some of the best practices that we've just seen work again and again and again. And you're going to continue to see these routes moving forward. So if you guys want to learn any of my full offensive or defensive ebooks for Madden or college football, it's in our school community, and that is linked in the description.